Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure being with you all, engaging with you all, and talking to you all. Life is never easy. It's how easy you make it. And the importance is that it's in your hands. You can get the direction, you can get the guidance, you can get the support. But it's you who has to make that difference. And today, it's all about the you. I'm on a stage and on this beautiful TEDx stage. There's not much of a difference from a radio studio and a TEDx stage. In both places, I talk. Oh, the only difference is at the TEDx stage, I can see you all. But on radio, I can't see any listener. There are lakhs of people tuning into radio. We don't have eye contact. We don't come face to face. But someone is tuned in, hoping, listening, that maybe one thought, one word, one story, or one song will make a difference today or could change someone's life today. And that's what's very important. Hope, the factor. Let's go to something which is a common problem with all of us. And we've all gone through that many a time. Suddenly, the computer freezes, totally freezes. We shake the mouse, the cursor can be seen, but nothing's happening. It's totally stuck. And we have these three magic controls: Control plus Alt plus Delete. And when you press that, the computer restarts. Fresh, go getting, and happening. Life is on similar lines. And today, being a part of radio, especially talking about Control plus Alt plus Delete, I'm going to actually put a radio theory to it also. That how we work and how radio also works when we look at these three controls in life. Life is important, very, very important to all of us. But it's also what we do in life and how we create a difference is very important. We all live our lives. We all have our styles. We all do what we want. We are happy. We are not happy. We are down. We are depressed. It's our life. Why bother? But the important thing in life is live your life and live life for others also. It could start from your family. It could start with your siblings. It could start with your loved ones. It could start with your close ones. It could be your friends. I'm not saying change the world, but start at that point where the drop begins. Because when the drops come together, it can create an ocean. And that's what's very important. Just imagine when we press Control, Alternate, and Delete, it comes about again. We reimagine. The entire computer restarts. It is free, it is fast moving, and it is fresh. So, pressing those three buttons brings about a lot of reimagination, brings about a lot of freshness, brings a lot of speed. Same way, let's rewind back and look to life. Just imagine if these three buttons were a part of life, how life could change, how life could restart, how life could begin in a very, very different way. And when I look at life in itself, life is also like the computer. Sometimes it freezes, sometimes it has its ups and downs. Sometimes ideas which we thought were great becomes insipid and becomes monotonous. Sometimes society doesn't like us to progress or pulls us back. Sometimes societies also divide us rather than connecting us. When we look at all that, we want to say, how can we make a difference? Look at radio. Just imagine if you were listening to radio and all you were hearing was static noise. Shh. What would you do? You would switch it off, or you would fine tune it to get onto the channel, get onto the frequency to hear it clearly. That's how life works. And when we get to these three controls of wisdom, which can bring about a huge change in our lives, it's all in our hands, as I said before. It's us who's going to do it. So let's start with the control word. But before that, my entire life of radio, the entire control, alternate, and delete, I'm going to put it in radio words. Because what we do, we get onto the radio station, we engage, we interact, we storytell. We could change the lives of people. We could make someone happy, someone out of a depression. We could change lives and we don't even know that's happening. It's just through the medium of radio. So let's look at the word control. Now everybody thinks control mane, domination, rule, authority. Wow, I'm in control. I'm the boss. You listen to me, you can't do anything else. That's not it. Control is a choice. When I walk into a radio station, I choose what I play. I choose what I speak. And I choose when I have to remain silent and not say something. That's a choice. So control is all about the choice. You have the choice to choose. Choose rightly. Choose positively. Choose for making a difference. Because see, what happens in life is there's so much happening. And again, as I said, the choice is in your hands. So from a radio perspective, I know I have control over three things: what I say, what I play, and what I don't need to say. I don't have control over the outside weather. I don't have control about who's listening to me or who's tuned in. So when you're looking at the word control, it's your choice what you do, how you choose. And that plays a very, very important part in life. Many a times we choose wrongly or we are influenced and we choose something we are not supposed to choose. The train goes off track. So remember one point, and these three buttons are very important. So when I look at control, I look at the choice you've got and the choice you need to put rightly, the choice which you can control, not which you can't control. We are so bothered in life with what are people doing, what's happening, trying to convince others. There are a lot of things we can't control. So choose something which you can control, which is within your sphere. That's very, very important. And that's the first step to succeeding. That's the first step to make a difference. That's the first step to become absolutely futuristic or reimagining. Very, very important. So get the choice right. So the first button, which is control. In reality, human life is not just a button on a computer, but it's your choice. What you can control, not what you can't control. So if you don't know how to drive and you take a driver's seat and you drive, you know what's going to happen. If you know how to drive and if you know how to control a car, get on and drive and go ahead. Excel in it. So the choice is not about boss, not about control. It's about choice. What you can control. Very, very important from the point of humanity, from the point of human beings. Very important. Now, let's go to ALT. What does ALT mean? Alternate. Means you think and you dare. Go into territories which are unthinkable. Very simple. Alternatives. Very, very simple. Now, if I look at health hospitals tell us, we treat people who are sick. But let me look at the other way, the alternative way. Why don't we educate people for wellness so that they don't even become sick? So today you have uh, wellness teachers, you have people to tell you how to live healthily, food to eat, etc. So you don't get into that sickness mode. That's an alternative thought. That's a thought saying that why wait to get sick? Live life king size. Very important. There were days when people could not speak. To go back to 1971, there was a liberation war, and radio played a very important part. It gave a voice to women, to people who could not speak. So we added a mic to them. And that was an alternative thought. That was a different thought. That was a daring thought, which actually played a very important role in the liberation of that country. And that goes way back. Small things which make a difference. So you have to dare to move into territory which is unthinkable. That's the way it works. Now, if I look at radio, we started off with cassettes, DATs, CDs. Today, a radio station, a radio studio looks like a plane's cockpit. It's high tech, it's computerized, it's programmed. And today, as a radio station, we are super high tech, we are hybrid. We are talking on air and we are engaging on digital through various softwares. Today, using AI, which people would say, Arey yaar, what is this? We lose our jobs, or it's unthinkable. We are creating original songs using AI software and our team voices. You have to think. You have to think and go into undeniable territory which you would be scared of. When computers were initially initiated, people were worried. Why should we use it? We're going to lose jobs. But see, today, it's become a part of life. Today, even AI, when we look at it, people say, oh God, I'm going to lose my job. AI is going to actually kill work. No, it helps us to become better. We have to take it in stride. We have to think of the unthinkable. That's the only way you'll succeed. Again, when I look at the word alternate and when I look at the word radio, I had this dream. It took time to become a reality, but I said, I'll do it. I actually created a radio studio on a hoarding, which was unthinkable. And we broadcast live from the radio studio on a hoarding in the city for 30 days. And it became a talking point. It became a marketing point. It became a branding point. It took radio to the next level. Again, for one of our other clients, we actually took a hot air balloon. And the winners experienced a ride in a hot air balloon on the Howrah side of the city. And in that hot air balloon, we created a full fledged radio studio. And we were broadcasting live while moving on air. You have to be different. You have to think different. Radio is radio, but how do you take it to the next level? And I'll talk about two true stories when I look at the word ALT. I received a call from someone on the station. He couldn't speak properly, he was stammering. He couldn't communicate. Every word he was stammering. And he had written a poem and he wanted to read that poem out. So now I can't tell him, please go ahead and say it because he's stammering. He just can't express himself. So I just took a call. I just took a thought. I said, why don't you try singing your poem? Just a thought. Why can't we be a little different? See if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And trust me, he was nervous. He was scared, but he sang out his entire poem without a stutter. Now that is altar. You have to think differently from the smallest solutions to the biggest solutions. Another story on radio. And these are stories which I'm telling you, which are actually stories which have happened. This is about the City of Joy. It was way back in 2007. Suddenly, my security in the office called me and told me, sir, there's a gentleman who's crying. He's wanting to talk to you. He is truly down. So I said, call the gentleman in. He was a bookseller from Behala. His 3-year-old son had leukemia, blood cancer. And a bookseller from Behala, you can imagine the kind of money he earns. The bone marrow transplant for his son was going to cost 18.5 lakhs, which was unthinkable. He was earning 10 to 15,000 a month. Last 6 months, he was running around in circles. He managed to collect 2.5 lakhs. He admitted his son in Apollo Chennai, in a Chennai hospital. So he had the guts to do it. He didn't think. He said, let me start the treatment. Let me not wait. I was moved. And I appreciated the fact that he also said, I've tried everything. Let me go with some hope to radio. Let me go with some hope to radio. And radio played a part. Have a heart, save a life. We collected 18.5 lakhs within 3 weeks, and the son was cured. That's alternative. Then let's go to delete. Human beings in today's life don't want to let go. Whether it be a hard disk full of software, old software which makes our system crash, or whether it be just things in life. To progress in life, the most important thing is to let go. So control your choices, alternate your ideas and take it to the next level. And remember, let go of things which don't work for you. That's how you can reimagine. That's how you can change lives. That's how you can change society. And that's how you can become a better human being. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Paucity of time, but that's a little bit I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much.